all you might end up is with rejections. That's completely normal. All you need is that one single email which can help you get into that interview stage. Hello guys, welcome to today's video. In this video, we are going to talk about an interesting topic. I keep getting this question quite a lot. Hey Pawan, how do I target consulting companies coming from a non-target school? Yes, either an undergrad school or a post-grad school. The question is always the same. In this video, we are going to talk about exactly that. How can you target a consulting company coming from a non-target school? Well, I would request you to get your pen and paper ready so that you can keep taking some notes. I'm going to speak about specific actions that you can take to actually get there. Let us get started right away with the first chapter, process. Coming from a non-target school, you don't have that institutional support. Your placement committee, your placement officers are not going to come to you and say, hey Pawan, McKinsey is coming next week, so be prepared, right? You need to do all that research. So what are the 2 or 3 things that you need to do? The first one, make sure you know when do McKinsey, BCG, Bain, A.T. Kearney, these kind of companies conduct interviews, okay? Off-campus interviews. Number 2, you need to know what is the interview process. Is there a written test or is it only a face-to-face interview? Because sometimes there are written tests, sometimes there are not. So you need to be aware which is the exact process which you will be going through. Number 3, it will be helpful for you to know if there are any seniors from your university who have cracked McKinsey, BCG or Bain, right? It could be after a few years, but it would help for you to understand that, hey, folks have actually cracked consulting companies coming from my university, so I can probably reach out to them. This leads us into the second part, that is networking, right? When you go and network with these consultants, you need to understand a few points. Number 1, there are 2 to 3 sets of people. One, somebody at a senior director level, director, partner level. These guys have 10 plus, 15 plus years of experience in consulting. You can't go and ask them, hey, by the way, when is the interview, right? That's not the right question you need to be asking a senior guy. For that, you probably ask somebody who joined consulting in the last 1 to 2 years. Now, how do you know that? Your best friend LinkedIn will have all the answers, right? So, understand what question you are asking to which person. So, 2 things that you have learned. Number 1, folks with experience and folks who are just getting started. Make sure that you have specific questions for both these kind of people. Also, you need to have some kind of common ground. You cannot go on LinkedIn and say that, hey, yes, I'm dropping a cold email. I don't deny the fact that you need to drop a cold email. You might have to drop hundreds of cold emails for all that you know, and you might face probably 90% rejections. That's all fine too, but you still need to have some kind of common connect, okay? Now, the third point within networking, we noticed one is senior people and the second one is junior people. The third party that you can probably keep connecting with is recruiters themselves, right? Number 4, an interesting opportunity is also coming up these days in terms of events that these companies are organizing. For example, McKinsey Next Gen Women Leaders Program. If you are a part of this program, you get to meet a lot of interesting people. And for this, you don't need to do any cold emailing. All you need to be there is present at the event and make some kind of good conversations going, right? So keep an eye out on the events that these guys are conducting. Okay, so let's take a step back. It might have been already too much. So the first part is about process. In this process, you need to know 3 things. Number 1, when are the interviews conducted? Number 2, what are the interviews going to be about? Is it face-to-face and written, or is it only face-to-face? Number 3, if anybody from your university has joined these companies previously. Okay. Moving to the networking part, there are 4 kinds of networking emails that you can send. Number 1, to the folks who are senior in the organization. Number 2, folks who have just joined. Number 3, recruiters. Number 4, folks who you meet at these kind of events like McKinsey Next Gen program. Okay. You also need to realize that, hey, by the way, 90% of the times you might not get a response. All you might end up is with rejections. That's completely normal. All you need is that one single email which can help you get into that interview stage. Well, moving on to the third part, after you connect with folks, you need to send them your resume. So you need to make sure that there are few points in your resume which stand out. Let us start with the academics, right? If your GPA is good, then you are all set. But if your GPA is not good, then you probably have to cover it or compensate it with your GMAT or GRE. A high score in GMAT or GRE indicates your academic abilities. So even if your GPA is low, then you can probably push through your resume in a decent way. The second thing that you need to look about in your resume is your internships and projects. Well, if you have good brands on your resume, it definitely helps. No questions about that. Even if you are coming from a non-target school. If you don't have good brands, then you need to compensate with some unique spikes. Like, did you get a chance to work in an international setup, international students, on a client facing role, any of these things? You can check out in the description box. I'm giving out link to Global Fellowship, which is an interesting opportunity, and folks do speak about Global Fellowship in their interviews. Here is one of the email that I have received recently. Hey, the guy who has converted BCG has mentioned that I talked about the Global Fellowship experience in my interviews. So do check it out. Now, the third thing which can also add value to your resume beyond academics and your internships and projects is your leadership experiences in your college itself. Well, a lot of people do mention the same thing, that hey, I'm a leader in my college sponsorship team. This has become super common. 80 to 100% of the folks are now writing the same thing. So figure out if you have something different going on your resume. It could be that, hey, you have started the first magazine, or you have been leading the magazine, or you have been a debater for a very long time. Whatever it is, if you can show that you have been doing this for a very long time, it genuinely tells to the other person that you are actually interested and you are really looking forward to doing it. Well, the final point that I want to cover is the interviews itself. Consulting interviews are not knowledge-based interviews that you can learn Java, C, C++ and ace the interviews. These are testing your business acumen, your critical thinking abilities, and that requires a lot of practice. And who do you need to practice these interviews with? You need to have case partners. Well, if you are coming from a non-target school and a lot of others around you are not preparing for case interviews, then that's a problem. You need to look out on platforms like Cases Over Coffee or any other platform out there where you can actually get a case partner to prepare for these interviews. Now, where can you get these cases from? You can get these cases from Case in Point, Case Interview Secrets, Victor Chang's Slom's. There are a lot of other books too which are available. You can purchase them and you can solve these cases. Well, there might be a few other case books as well that are released by prominent institutions around the world. You can see if you can get your hands on that. Okay. Now, what is the best way for you to prepare for these interviews? You need to understand that there are 3 or 4 things that are tested in these case interviews. Number one, it's about your numerical ability. If you are coming from a psychology or a law or a background where math is not a daily topic for you, then probably you need to spend a little more time preparing the quantitative aspects. The other thing is the critical thinking aspect. For this, you need a structured way of answering the question, and also you need to have some kind of business knowledge. I'm linking a video here and you can probably go there to get a deeper understanding of how do you prepare for these case interviews. There is another portion along with case interviews, that is behavioral interviews. Please don't ignore behavioral interviews. I've also add another link. You can please go check how do you prepare for these behavioral interviews. Now, just to take a step back and summarize all the things that we have learned. Number one, get to know the process. Number two, network with the right set of people and also make sure that you reach out to a lot of folks. Number three, you also build your resume in such a way that it is different compared to others. And finally, preparation. You need to have a good headway. You need to have a lot of time before your interview season actually kicks in. Okay, identify these buddies, identify the books and keep practicing. There is no way in which you can prepare for these interviews overnight. You need to spend a lot of time preparing, and that is the only way you can crack these interviews. Good luck, guys. I hope you can actually crack these consulting companies coming from a non-target school. I'm all up for underdogs. If you believe that this video will help any of your friends who are from non-target colleges and looking forward to crack consulting interviews, please do share it with them. Also, I would love to hear what are the 3 or 4 things that you felt were super important from this video? Please do write in the comments box. Thank you so much guys for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.